Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Patek Philippe Nautilus 38.5mm reference 1A-001 with a blue dial and stainless steel. I will tell you a little bit about the history of the Nautilus, then tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar Nautiluses. Finally, I will go through the case bezel dial bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start with the history. The Nautilus was created in 1976 by Gerald Genta, who first created the Royal Oak Audemars Piguet in 1972. So they came out with the Nautilus 4 years after. Patek wanted an answer to the AP, which is their biggest competitor and still is. Their AP released the Royal Oak, which was not at the time not wildly successful, but they did create a new segment of watches, which was the luxury sports watch. Patek wanted to also be along for that ride, and they commissioned Gerald Genta to design their version of the luxury sports watch, and the Nautilus was therefore created as a result. Now, the very first Nautilus in 1976 looks quite a bit similar to what it looks like now, actually almost exactly the same. I mean, some minor differences, but basically the same. The first reference was reference 3700. They call it the jumbo. It's actually 40 millimeters, which is not jumbo. It's actually the normal size. But back then in 1976, which is more than 50 years ago, a 40 millimeter watch was gigantic, hence the name jumbo. Now it would be actually just regular. But anyways, the jumbo or reference 3700 was produced from 1976 to 1990. That is approximately, how many years is that? 15 years? Yeah, or 14 years? 14, let's call it 15 years. Okay, it was quite a long time. And it was 40 millimeter. It's actually 42 millimeter from ear to ear. That means left to right, 9 to 12, or 3 to 9. But if you just count the diameter of the bezel, which is what most people count, is 40 millimeters. And that is a pretty good size. Now, they thought after they wanted to release the next version, they thought, well, you know what, that might have actually been a little bit too big, so let's kind of go down. And by the way, back in 1976, Patek, you wouldn't believe it, they were not actually making their own movements. They were outsourcing the movement to Jaeger-LeCoultre, which was producing a movement that actually the Royal Oak as well as the Nautilus was using. And so it was called is a Jaeger-LeCoultre caliber 920. That's the base caliber, and then Patek would modify it, and they made it 28-255C, and that's what they used. And I've seen a picture of the movement, and it doesn't look all that impressive, to be honest. Okay, so good thing that they did some changes from it, and it was used in not only the Royal Oak, but as well as the Nautilus back then. Okay, well, in 1990, they decided, okay, we need to, or 19, actually, there was a little bit of overlap. In 1980, they decided, you know what, we need to maybe make this a little bit smaller. So they decided to make the smaller version of it, which was, they just changed the reference to 3800, and now instead of being 40 millimeters, it's 37.5. And they produced this all the way until 2006. Now, 37.5 is quite small. Of course, there's some minor differences. I'm not going to go through all of them, but basically, I'm going to just focus on the size because that's probably what most people will see and understand, and that's the thing that affects you the most. The movement, changing this or that or whatever doesn't affect you that much, but changing the size definitely does. Okay, now the 3800 was then powered by an in-house movement, getting rid of the Jaeger-LeCoultre movement, and it was really small. And so it did not do all that well, to be honest. From 1981 until 2006, which is that's a long time. That's like 25 years. They produced this mid-sized Nautilus, which is not that impressive. And it's not that impressive because even now, today, even with a huge demand for Nautiluses, the 3800 does not do very well on the secondary market, and it's most likely because of the size. 37.5 is just not a size that most people want to wear. Okay, all right. Now, with that said, after the 3800 came what you're looking in front of you now, which is the 5800, and it was produced to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the Royal Oak, and it was produced from just 2006, which makes it 30 years, until 2009. Just a very short run, the 5800 was, okay? And what is interesting about it is they realized, you know what? That small size that we made, it's a little bit too small at 37.5. We are going to up the size to 38.5, and that's going to be a little bit better. They just produced it for 3 years, from 2006 to 2009. But the good thing about this, I'll tell you about when I talk about the rest of it. And after that, they decided, okay, we're going to come out with the 5711, and that's the most modern one, which is at 40 millimeters. And they had a lot of variations after that. Okay, that's enough about the history. Let's start talking about where this watch stands in the lineup. I actually kind of already told you about it during the history lesson here, but I'll just say this, is that the 5800 is the first time that the watch starts to look modern. It doesn't look any different, really, than the current model. And I'll go through the differences when I start talking about the specifics of it, but it's really the first, like when you look at the old 3700 or the 3800, they don't look even, they look like Nautiluses, but they look like very old Nautiluses. They don't look modern anymore. But the 5800, it still looks every bit like a Nautilus, and or it is a Nautilus, but it looks just like the current Nautilus. Yes, there's some differences in the movement, but you can actually tell by looking at it, unless you have, I don't know, you're a watchmaker, a very trained eye, and you can't tell anything on the dial. It still has the same dial, the bracelet, everything's the same. It's just a smaller size. So this is a great watch for those who are looking for a Nautilus at a smaller size, or they have a smaller wrist. Okay, that's sort of about where this watch stands in the lineup. Okay, the reference 5800 produced from 2006 to 2009. It's a smaller size, not the smallest, but it's at 38.5, which is a great size for most guys. If you have a smaller wrist. Okay, and so there you have it. Okay, now let's. After that, of course, they went on to. Patek has gone on and done other things, like, for example, produced a 5711, which it was at 40 millimeter, and then they even produced an even larger one last year. I think 24 or 23. They produced a 5811. Okay, now that's enough about the history and where this watch stands in the lineup. Let's start talking about the watch itself, starting with the case. Now I'm going to harp on it again. The main thing that someone might want to buy this watch is the size, 38.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters small, or it's the 5811, which is the current in production, is 41 millimeters. Might be a little bit big for some people, but if you have a smaller wrist, 38.5 is great. Okay, so this is okay. Anyways, that's the case. Now the case actually looks the same as the current 5811. I mean, you really can't tell any different. It has these two ears on the left and right, which is the 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. It has the date at the 3 o'clock position. It has this sort of wave or sort of gradient blue dial. It's the same as what the 5811 looks like right now, which is what is currently in production as of 24. It's hard to believe that this watch from 2006, now it's 2025. That's 20 years ago. It looks exactly the same. There's no difference. The case looks the same, as these beautiful satin finish top with beveled edges, integrated bracelet, the bezel. Okay, I mean, looks all pretty more or less the same. Okay, that is the case. 40 millimeters. It has a nice thin height of around 8 millimeters, and that's because it has only telling time and date only. There's not a whole lot of complications to it. So, okay, that is the case. Now start talking about the dial a bit. The dial is just a blue dial, but not only a blue dial, it's a blue gradient dial, and it has sort of, not a wave, but like the ladies have a wave to it, but it has this sort of, for example, the Royal Oak has a grand tapestry, kind of looks like a little waffle. The Nautilus doesn't have that, but it has these sort of straight lines that give it this sort of 60s, 70s look to it. But it adds a little bit more depth to the watch, makes the watch look more alive than just a flat blue. Just like same thing like they did with the Royal Oak. Now the Royal Oak they chose to do with these little boxes, and the Nautilus they chose to do with the lines. I mean, yeah, both are great. And what else I can notice, if you look at the hour markers in the hands, they look modern. They have indexes that are luminescent. They're cut to different sizes so that they can go around the bezel, the dial, in a gracious way, as opposed to just all being cut in the same size, right? For example, you see the 11 o'clock hour marker is different from the 4 o'clock hour markers, right? Because it has to go around correctly. Okay, that is the dial, which it looks just as modern as it does now. But if you look at the old versions, all the ones that were created before 2006, for example, like the 3700 or 3800, they don't look modern, but this does. The print, everything's modern. Patek Philippe, Genève, that's it. Beautiful, beautiful. Simple, but beautiful. Okay, now let's start talking about the bezel. The bezel it's not an octagonal bezel, it's a porthole or something like that. That is signature Nautilus. Kind of looks a little bit like a circle, but not really, but like a square, but not really. Best way to describe it is like what you see here. This Nautilus looking bezel. It's what actually makes this watch so unique. Okay, okay, let's move on to the bracelet here. Now, the bracelet, again, it's actually the same bracelet that they're using nowadays. Actually, I shouldn't say that. In 2000, I think they changed the bracelet slightly to use a butterfly system instead. So they slowly changed over the next few years, from 21 to 23 or 4. They started to get rid of this pressure system buckle on the bracelet, and instead changed it to the butterfly system, where you just press it and it pops open. This one actually is more secure, if you ask me, and it was what is on all the watches from 2000, basically 5 until 2025. It's a very good buckle, and the bracelet is unmistakable Nautilus. It's integrated, it has high polish in the center, satin down, finish down the side, and really it just looks fantastic. Okay, now let's talk about the movement. Now the movement here is actually, it looks the same as what is on the current 5.811. This movement is a caliber 330 SC. Now you might be wondering, what are the difference? Well, looking at it, nothing. It has a big gold rotor on the back, and it has beautiful finishing, just like nowadays. The new movement, yes, it has some new differences. It's actually a 26 330. The key difference is 26 then 330, and it has like hacking seconds, some other fancy things that they do to it, but basically it looks the same, and it does the same thing too. So I can't really say it's all that much better. Yeah, it's better, but it doesn't look much different, and it still works more or less the same, and it looks the same. Okay, that's the movement. Now it's time for me to try this watch on. Now I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. I have a 7.5-inch wrist. Now I will say 38.5 on me looks a little bit small, but look, I'm 200 pounds, right? So those who are going to be wearing this watch are going to have a 7-inch wrist or smaller, and that usually is a person at 150 or 160 pounds or less. So if you are a smaller guy, right, then this would be a good idea for you. And it actually would be even cheaper than a 5711. It will basically look the same, but it'll actually fit you. So I would suggest, for those people who have a smaller wrist size and want to have a Nautilus that fits instead of just some, big Nautilus that's just too big, you should go to jazzdime.com or click on the link in the description below and buy this watch at jazzdime.com. And for those, I think it's a modern watch. It's a modern Nautilus. It's one of the few Nautiluses that have smaller sizes, because all the other complication ones don't have smaller sizes. It's your opportunity to get one that actually fits you, looks good, and you can also get it at the lowest price anywhere online. So look, I'm definitely going to give it 2 thumbs up. It has a smaller market for those. But look, if you're a bigger guy and you want to wear a watch that fits you, you can also buy a 5811 at jazzdime.com, which is 41 millimeters. So look, please, if you like this watch, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazzdime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.